Big things are happening, and here's the latest. And understand, the truth is clear to those who are able to see through the media manipulation by the mainstream media, and that's what I try to help you do. Reality is shifting before our eyes. While Israel fights for its security and its future and the future of the whole freedom-loving world, the truth keeps surfacing, exposing the lies and hypocrisy of those who oppose us. So let's break down some of the latest headline news. Number one, Syria. This week, Syrian Sunni terrorists opened fire on IDF soldiers. The IDF, as expected, responded with force, causing panic among the local Syrian population. Now, Syrians in that area of southern Syria are evacuating en masse. But here's what the media isn't telling us all. These communities of these Syrians in southern Syria were built on Jewish-owned land. The historical facts, in addition to being part of biblical borders of Israel, so one day they will be part of the Jewish nation of Israel and the Jewish state of Israel, in the late 19th century, Baron Edmund Rothschild purchased large tracts of land in the region of Syria called Haran, an area now controlled by the state of Syria, but historically part of the Jewish homeland. Jewish pioneers established several agricultural settlements in that area, including communities named Tiferet Binyamin, Nachalat Moshe, Zichron Menachem, Avat Yisrael, Beit Halkar, and more. The Jewish farmers worked that land, turning those areas into thriving Jewish communities. Then in 1898, the Ottoman Empire, under pressure from Arab nationalists, forcibly expelled the Jews from those Jewish communities. Then when the French controlled the area after World War I, they allowed local Arab tribes to take over that Jewish land. And then in 1948, when Syria became an independent state, they fully annexed the area, pretending as if that land was never Jewish to begin with. So why does this matter today? Well, one, the Syrian regime is no more. Right now, Syria is under control of Turkish-supported ISIS Taliban Sunni terrorists, massacring Alawites and Christians and endangering the enclaves of Jews and Kurds. Two, the Syrian people fleeing those southern Syrian communities are fleeing stolen Jewish land in what was known as Syria. And three, with the region becoming a lawless, dangerous war zone, Israel has a rare opportunity to reclaim what is rightfully ours, southern Syria. So the world always talks about land justice. Well, it's time for Jews to get our land justice and take back what was stolen from us in that area of what was known as southern Syria. Now let's go to Gaza. The real solution the world still doesn't want to admit. Well, for months, people have debated what should be done about Gaza. Should Israel leave? Should we create a buffer zone? And the reality is becoming clearer every day, and I talk about this all the time. The only real way to protect Israelis from Gaza Islamo-Nazi terrorists is for Israel to return and make all of Gaza Jewish again. So what's happening now? Thousands of Gazans are fleeing from northern Gaza, leaving only the Islamo-Nazi Hamas terrorists behind. This means that Israel is in a perfect position to finish off Hamas once and for all. As the world keeps hoping for a ceasefire, as Hamas still refuses to release our hostages and keeps fighting against us, the only way to end this war is to completely eliminate the Islamo-Nazis in Gaza and never allow them to return or live there. How did we get to this situation? Well, it's the disaster of the Gaza disengagement of 2005. Israel controlled Gaza from 1967 to 2005, with 21 thriving Jewish communities in Gush Katif and other parts of the Gaza area. The Jewish communities were safe, productive, and provided economic opportunities for Gaza Arabs as well, who worked in their agricultural areas. Then, in 2005, Prime Minister Ariel Sharon unilaterally withdrew from Gaza, even though he was elected on a platform opposing leaving Gaza. Every Jewish community in Gaza was destroyed, and all close to 10,000 Jews were expelled from their homes in Gaza, and every Jew buried in Gaza was uprooted and reburied in other cemeteries in Israel. Gaza was then turned into a terror state by our Islamo-Nazi enemy who lives in Gaza. Since then, we have had 4 wars with Gaza, tens of thousands of rockets fired at Israeli civilians, and the worst massacre in Israeli history that took place on October 7th, 2023, that originated from Gaza. So the world's solutions are nonsense. Some say Israel should leave Gaza after the war, but who will take over? The Palestinian Authority? The same group that incites terror and pays terrorists? Or maybe an Arab nation consortium? Well, no Arab nation or entity can or will fight Islamo-Nazi terrorists to protect Jews. They can't even protect themselves from their fellow Islamo-Nazi terrorists. Just look at Syria. Some say Israel should create a buffer zone from Gaza. Well, why should Israel give up its own land and still allow Hamas to live there and rebuild and terrorize us? No, the only real solution is Israeli Jewish control over all of Gaza. We tried giving away land for peace, even though I was totally against it for years, and it failed. This time, Israel needs to stay in Gaza, rebuild our Jewish communities, ensure the Gazans immigrate, and ensure that Gaza territory is permanently secured under Israeli sovereignty. Now, next issue from the news, hypocrisy of the political left. For the past 2 years, the political left in Israel has been screaming about Netanyahu and his government being a dictatorship and a threat to democracy. They claim that Netanyahu's government, a government democratically elected by the people and acting democratically, was turning Israel into a dictatorship. They warned that the Israeli right and religious are anti-democratic and that we would have a U.S. Capitol-style riot like what happened in Washington, D.C. on January 6, 2021. That's a totally different story about what really happened there. But guess what? They were right, except it was the left that did that Capitol riot. What happened? Yesterday, leftist protesters attacked parliament members in Knesset and physically tried to prevent them from entering the Knesset building to vote on the annual budget. They blocked every entrance to the Knesset, chanting that they were stopping a dictatorship. One of the protest leaders even bragged, quote, "We have blocked all the entrances to the Knesset. This is how you stop a dictatorship." Protesters and protest leaders have been literally screaming for Netanyahu to be hanged. Here's the problem. Blocking elected officials from voting is literally anti-democratic. The budget vote was not some controversial new law. It was a routine democratic process required for the government to function, and they tried to stop it. The same leftist protesters who warned about a Capitol riot becoming a real thing in Israel, they themselves opposed, they did. Now, compare this to the right-wing religious camp in Israel. The Israeli right have had plenty of reasons to protest over the years. I personally protested against the Oslo Accords in the early 1990s that were forced through the Knesset using political bribery. With Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin literally bribing right-wing opposition members with government positions and cars in order to give up Israeli land to a terrorist organization that had already killed thousands of Jews. Now, then we go to the Gaza disengagement of 2005. It was a total betrayal of democracy, with Prime Minister Ariel Sharon going against his own voters and firing ministers just to push the plan through. And yet, did the right wing ever storm the Knesset? Did we ever stop votes? No, we protested legally with civil disobedience. And then we go to elections, and we respected democracy. So let's ask the big question. Which camp is actually democratic, and which camp is trying to destroy democracy? Now let's go to the next issue. The anti-Hamas protests taking place in Gaza right now. As videos are being spread about them, it is important to put this into perspective. The so-called anti-Hamas protests in Gaza are nothing more than a desperate admission of defeat. Where were these protesters in Gaza on October 7th, when Hamas terrorists brutally massacred over 1,200 Israeli men, women, and children? Where were they when Israeli hostages were dragged through the streets of Gaza, beaten and spat on by non-combatants, not just by Hamas terrorists, but by ordinary Gazans who cheered and celebrated? They didn't protest then. They didn't demand Hamas stop its atrocities for the past 18 months. They didn't call for peace. They didn't call for our hostages to be freed or free any of them for the $5 million reward offered by the Israeli government for every single hostage who an Arab in Gaza would bring to us. No, only now are they protesting because they see that Hamas has lost and brought disaster upon them. They see that U.S. President Donald Trump supports Israel in finishing Hamas off and is helping facilitate their immigration to other countries, something that the Biden administration did not do because it was helping them. These people are not protesting for freedom or democracy or to make peace with Israel. They are not crying for our hostages to be released. These are crocodile tears in these protests, nothing more than an attempt to save themselves now that they realize their victory from October 7th turned into their total disaster. Another Nakba. There are no innocent civilians in Gaza. They stood with Hamas. They embraced Hamas. They are Hamas. And they only turn against Hamas now because Hamas failed to destroy Israel. And they're losing. They are not victims. They are all complicit. Now I want to provide these final thoughts. The truth is winning. Syrians are fleeing Jewish land in Syria that Israel must take and remain there forever. Northern Gaza is emptying. Israel must stay there forever and rebuild Jewish communities in all of Gaza. The political left is exposing their true face. They are the real anti-democratic force, not just in Israel, but all over the Western world. The truth is clear for those willing to see past the media manipulation. So everyone, stay strong, stay proud, strengthen your faith in God above, because through all this tragedy that we're still experiencing, unbelievable things are happening. And keep standing strong for Israel, the Jewish people, and the truth, because we are the front line for the whole freedom-loving world against the red-green Marxist Islamist alliance out to destroy us all. Great things are happening. Am Yisrael Chai. That's it for today's Pulse of Israel, where you get a daily belief-based, inspiring, politically incorrect, truthful analysis of what's going on to Israel, the Jewish people, and the freedom-loving world. If you are not yet a subscriber, what are you waiting for? Go to pulseofisrael.com and click to subscribe. And yes, we are a donor-based operation. We need your support. Big or small donations, they all help us get out there, as we are heavily censored and shadow banned across all social media platforms. It's thanks to your donations we can do our work and get our videos seen, and we want them to be seen by many more people. So every once in a while, just click on the donate button on pulseofisrael.com. Shalom, everyone, and thanks for watching.
Pulse of Israel, frontline videos from the Holy Land. Support our work by donating today.